How do you define success? Ah, wow.
Mhm.
How's that for timing? um, okay, if you've ever watched someone being coached and like in a gym, I don't mean like, life coach, but physical, Olympics or, wrestler, whatever, physical. Um, and maybe you've had a coach, at some point, maybe in high school or something, a lot of times the coach will say, give me 5 more, give me 7 more, and the person, they can be at the point of fatigue. They can say, I don't have any more, but they do it. Well, how do they do it? Well, it's because they know where the finish line is, so they can reach down and they can do the 5 more because they know that at the 5, then they can fall out, So the problem with us right now, for the past 2 years, the problem why we're fatigued, why we're having issues, why we're having these troubles, we don't know where the finish line is. It seems like it keeps moving. Maybe
Yeah.
we're getting close to the end, but there's a lot of difficulty when you don't know where you're trying to go. So, the athlete, the endurance athlete competes and he stays focused beyond fatigue. He keeps going. So if current circumstances and society can't or won't define what success looks like, we have to define it for ourselves. So I ask you to think about this for this year. What does success look like for you, for your career, for this season? What will success look like? If you don't define it, how will you know when you reached it? How will you know when you've hit the target? So ask how you define success as a parent, as a team member, as a leader, as a boss, as a mom, as a spouse. How do you define success in any of these? And we tend to think about these big, well, I'll be successful when I have a new job that makes me 150,000 a year. Yeah, I'll be a success when, my children graduate, from college and they're now in kindergarten. I'll be a success, whatever. And we're always thinking in terms of the future. But what I'm suggesting to you is that we bring it down to a micro level. And earlier we had a question about, having difficult conversations with people. So here, let's go back to that and kind of tie this together. When you know you're going to have a hard conversation with somebody, how about, and we can call this a success, how about defining 3 things that you can do to control the conversation to make it a success? What are 3 things you can do on the front side? Don't do it when you're in the conversation, but on before, or maybe you have a difficult conversation coming up with a subordinate. What are 3 things you can do? This is somebody who always shifts the blame or is always late to work, or, there is some problem. What are 3 things you can do on the front side? 3 decisions you make on the front side that will have this conversation be a success. How do you define success? What does success look like? And this means looking at success maybe in a different way. We think of, big things. I'll be successful when, and it's some, place out there. But there's always another hill to climb. There's always another mountain. There's always, something. So how would you define success?